And a good morning, Wenatchee Valley. Good morning, North Central Washington. Good morning to everybody who decided to start their day with us. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel. It is Tuesday, the 9th day of January 2018, and I'm Dan Kuntz. I'll be your host for the next hour. Kat is in control. You'll notice there's no chair to my immediate left because our news director, Steve Hare, still under the weather. He's got the creeping crud, which has been going around, and some days he feels almost back at it, and then he has a setback, and then he feels better, and then he has a setback. So Steve will not be joining us today. I hope you're watching, Steve. Hi, Steve. How are you? We're holding down the fort, so I'll be handling the news in conjunction with your friend of mine, Grant Olson, when we cover the news here in just a couple minutes, including our top story this morning. Robert E. Lee Elementary is now just plain Lee Elementary. Our cameras were there last night at the Eastmont School Board meeting, and we'll talk about that when we do the news here in just a little bit, plus all the other things that you need to know, including your weather forecast, your past report, sports. What a game last night. I didn't have a dog in the hunt, but I love college football, so of course I watched every snap of last night's national championship game between Alabama and Georgia. I didn't think it could possibly top last year's, and it did. It was a phenomenally exciting game. Congratulations to the Crimson Tide. We'll talk about that in sports, plus your prep schedule. We have the Obscura Holiday. We have Today in History. We have birthdays. Second half of the show, Don Messick, the regional labor economist for our area. He came by a couple weeks ago and recorded a long-form interview with Don to talk about mostly good news for the year of 2017 as far as jobs are related here in North Central Washington. That entire interview with Don will be aired in the second half of the program. So if you're ready and I'm ready, let's go around North Central Washington and the Wenatchee Valley with our Valley View cameras, and we say, of course, good morning to the cross camera. And you'll notice that layer of fog just above the Senator George Seller Bridge. When I got up this morning at 4 o'clock, it was raining pretty good. It kind of stopped raining. In fact, it's warmed up rather dramatically. It's still fairly cloudy and 34 degrees here in the Wenatchee Valley. Our forecast high, we're there already. Not really. It's going to be up near 40. Big storm coming, by the way, on Thursday. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. A little bit of snow here in the Wenatchee Valley and a lot of snow in the mountain passes. Get ready for that. That's down the road. So there's the cross camera. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley proper. It's good to see you. Let's go to Jump Off Ridge. See what's going on up there. There you go. That's another view of the Wenatchee Valley. That's a spectacular view from Jump Off Ridge. Not very easy to get there this time of year. You need a snowmobile, quite frankly, but there's a lot of transmitter towers and repeaters, and of course we have a Sky-Fi camera up there as well. And that looks brighter than it actually is because, as we mentioned before, the lenses are designed to incorporate and soak in as much light as it possibly can so you can see what's going on. So it looks like it's, you know, mid-afternoon on a cloudy day. It's actually still pretty dark. The sun doesn't come up for another 40 minutes or so. So good morning, Jump Off Ridge. Nobody lives up there, but I thought I'd say good morning anyway. Number One Canyon. People do live up Number One Canyon. And that gives you a pretty good view of the East Wenatchee Bench. And again, you can just see that layer of low clouds and fog hanging over the valley right at the Columbia River. The Columbia River, of course, when if it's a little bit warmer, the water is warmer than the air temperature, you get that little phenomenon that you see. And you can see 5th Street and the campus of Wenatchee Valley College on the lower left-hand side of your screen. And finally, let's go up and see our friends in Leavenworth. Hello, Tumwater. There you go. That camera is right at the very tip-top of the mountain when you cruise into the Tumwater Canyon. So there's beautiful Leavenworth, and they have quite a bit of snow on the ground still in the Bavarian Village. Not so much in the Wenatchee Valley. We had a significant snow melt yesterday. I had snow when I got up yesterday. I had snow in the front yard of my house, and now it's 24 hours later, and I don't have any snow at all on the front yard of my house. But we are going to get some snow on Thursday. Going to snow quite a bit Thursday morning, then it's going to switch over to rain. Let's go ahead and do your weather forecast from the National Weather Service. That's what it looks like. Valley rain, mountain snow is what we're expected today. Most of the precipitation will be light. We could still see a snowflake before 9 o'clock, and then whatever comes in after 9 o'clock for the rest of the day will be in the form of rain because we're going to be up just about the 40-degree mark with quite a bit of clouds. Tonight, mostly cloudy, nothing coming down out of the sky, or expected anyway, 30 for the overnight low. Partly sunny Wednesday and a high of 41 degrees. That's going to feel pretty good. And then Thursday, there's a big storm coming. It's not going to affect us a great deal. The mountain passes, though, oh, wait till you get to that forecast. For Thursday, it's going to start out with snow. When you get up Thursday morning, it's going to be snowing at a pretty good clip. We could get up to 3 inches of snow on Thursday morning, but by Thursday night, it'll all be gone because it transitions from snow And then at noon, it goes to a rain-snow mix. And then about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it switches over to just plain rain. It's going to be very, very wet on Thursday. Snow, rain-snow mix, and then rain, and a high, as you can see there, near 39 degrees. So whatever snow we get, and we could get up to 3 inches here in the Wenatchee Valley, probably all going to be gone by excuse me. By Thursday night. It's going to continue to rain off and on into Thursday night, and then Friday partly sunny and 44 degrees. So even if we don't have complete snow melt by Thursday at sunset, by Friday at sunset, it'll all be gone with a high of 44. And you can see for the weekend we have another cool down, including the holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, with a chance of rain and snow and a high of 34. So there you go, typical January weather, a little bit warmer perhaps than normal. The National Weather Service was predicting a La Nina year, which was similar to last year. It was supposed to be cooler and wetter than normal, and that kind of hasn't really developed yet, hasn't it? Remember last year at this time, we had a lot of snow on the ground here in the Wenatchee Valley. This 6 minutes after the hour, let's do your past report from the Washington State Department of Transportation. These are live cameras that you're looking at. Snoqualmie Pass, it is snowing, and they have a traction tire advisory, compact snow and ice on the roadway on I-90 Snoqualmie Pass. It is snowing on Stevens Pass with a traction tire advisory there. Good morning, Stevens. That's what you're looking like. Compact snow and ice on the roadway, and again, traction tires are advised, and we'll go ahead and make it 3 of a kind. Blewett Pass also has a traction tire advisory. It is also snowing, and they also have compact snow and ice on the roadway. It is going to snow in the mountain passes fairly continuously from today all the way through Thursday night. Your forecast for the mountain passes today, it will snow. 3, 4, maybe even 5 inches of snow possible. Of course, the higher elevation you go, the better chance of more snow. Tuesday night, tonight, another 3, 4, 5 inches of snow expected in the Cascades. Wednesday, couple of inches, kind of the quiet day. Wednesday night, as that storm system begins to enter the area, they're going to get 4 to 8 inches of snow on Wednesday night, and then hold the fort on Thursday. Are you ready for this? In the Cascades, Thursday, 13 to 19 inches of snow possible. And on Thursday night, an additional 7 to 11 inches possible. So snow off and on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and then snow, heavy snow Thursday and Thursday night. Would not be surprised at all if they will have to close some passes just to get the plows out there to keep ahead of the snow. That is a lot of snow coming to the mountain passes on Thursday. And that's, for the Wenatchee Valley, as we mentioned before, we're going to get up to 3 inches of snow early on Thursday. It's going to switch over to rain. We'll be up near 40, but the temperatures in the Cascade passes will not get above freezing. So off and on snow until they get to Thursday, and then heavy snow all day Thursday and going right in to Thursday night. That's your weather forecast, and that's your past report at 8 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a 1-minute break. When we come back, myself and Grant Olson will get you caught up on what you need to know on this Tuesday morning. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and we are live here from Studio 15 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
Hi, I'm Blair from Works, your workout prescription. Have you ever started an exercise program and struggled to keep it going? So what if I told you that with this MyZone device, I could increase your chances of self-motivated exercise adherence by over 200%. Combine that with an exercise prescription specifically for your level of readiness, we'll increase it even more. And that's our new member success system. It's $99. It's exclusively at Works. It includes your MyZone belt. Works, yourworkoutrx.com.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Motion carries.
So we couldn't hear the motion.
Motion carries.
It was unanimous. Ayes have it. Motion carried.
To change the lead?
That's right. It's official. Robert E. Lee Elementary School in East Wenatchee is now simply Lee Elementary. Before a large crowd last night at their regularly scheduled meeting at Grant Elementary, 4 of the 5 Eastmont School Board members that were in attendance voted unanimously to rename the school Lee Elementary. Some school district residents requested dropping the name due to its links to the Confederacy and perceived racist connotations. As a compromise to those who didn't want the name changed and to those that did, the name change to simply Lee Elementary School came at the suggestion of Superintendent Garn Christensen.
The moment you take a position in public service at any level, it's one of constant compromise. Your own beliefs, your own opinions, and you work towards the hope that the people that are sitting here in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, or 50 years from now, our grandchildren, will look back and say, thank you. There was a group of committed citizens in this community that made decisions for the benefit of all. My decision is it what I would absolutely love? No, I rarely get to do that as a superintendent. Is it a compromise? It is. And my recommendation to change it from Robert E. Lee to Lee Elementary is just that. I think it's a good recommendation that will hopefully move us forward. From what was mentioned earlier in the process of doing my own research, I pulled open the Washington State School Directory and I looked up our district. And yes, there is Robert E. Lee, both in the printed version and the electronic version. If you look for Grant Elementary, somehow or another, it just got recorded as Grant Elementary. In other places, Ulysses S. Grant is actually wrong to the school. So we are imperfect as citizens, and we are imperfect as people and as a democracy. But I still believe it's the foundation of our country. So please consider that.
So there you have it. Robert E. Lee Elementary from now on will be known simply as Lee Elementary. It is 12 minutes after the hour. As we mentioned before, Steve Hare continues to fight that bug that a lot of people are. So your friend of mine, Grant Olson, will be handling your Tuesday morning news.
Good Tuesday morning. I'm Grant Olson in for Steve Hare with a look at your Wake Up Wenatchee Valley news. After almost 9 years at the Lake Chelan Community Hospital, CEO Kevin Abel announced his resignation in a news release last week. Abel is accepting a job as CEO at North Valley Hospital in Whitefish, Montana, and his resignation is effective April 1st. Hospital District Commission Chairwoman Mary Signorelli said because of Abel's leadership, the district is in good shape to take on this transition.
The board feels very good about the fact that we're not in the same place we were 9 years ago. We're in a very sound place for the hospital to be in terms of our finances, in terms of our leadership, in terms of our staffing, and in terms of the health care that we provide. We feel really good about what we have going on. We hate like heck losing Kevin. We are very happy for him and his family. We're looking at all of our options. They're going to bring us back and make recommendations about what they find.
The hospital is also on its way to building a new facility in Chelan and has started laying the groundwork for the multi-million-dollar project.
We're in the middle of winter, so it's a good opportunity for us to finalize our floor plan and work with our contractor and our architect and our facilities committee and our project manager. And we're putting in our departments and looking at what space is needed and how much space is needed. And we're within our footprint, moving a few walls around here and there and saying, no, this department needs a little more space here and that one doesn't need as much, and we can do this here and that there.
Signorelli said the board has no timeline for hiring a new CEO, but expects the new hospital facility to be completed by the spring of 2020. Chelan County Superior Court officially has a new judge. At a ceremony Saturday at the Numerica Performing Arts Center in Wenatchee, Kristen Ferreira was sworn in by Washington State Supreme Court Justice Stephen Gonzalez with a little help from Ferreira's 2 young daughters.
Please repeat after me. I, Kristen M. Ferreira,
I, Kristen M. Ferreira,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
of
the office of judge
for
the Superior Court of Chelan County, State of Washington,
State of Washington,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations and welcome. Please don't fall off.
Kristen Ferreira replaces Judge Alicia Nakata, who is retiring. Ferreira was a partner at Jeffers, Danielson, Son, and Aylward in Wenatchee. Prior to working in private practice, she served as a law clerk with the Tulalip Tribe's Office of the Reservation Attorney. Ferreira also serves on the Board of Campaign for Equal Justice and participates in the Chelan-Douglas County Volunteer Attorney Services. Well, a roaming cougar caused quite a stir for residents in the Orondo area over the weekend. Now it appears the cat was run over Monday night on Highway 97 near Orondo Park. Betsy Ray Ermer reported on Facebook that a cougar was seen Saturday night in the yard of her father's house across from Orondo Park. She said they called the sheriff's office, who reported it to the State Patrol. Typically, the report shifts from the State Patrol to State Department of Fish and Wildlife officers. Upon inspection on Sunday, the tracks headed north through a cherry orchard and came out at Hose Landing Road. Now this morning, or I should say yesterday morning, a dead cougar was found along State Route 97 near Orondo Park, which is assumed to be the same cat. Well, yesterday in Seattle, re-elected Seattle City Council member Lorena Gonzalez and newly elected council member Teresa Mosqueda invited Wenatchee High School's Mariachi Wenatchee to perform at their inauguration ceremony. Council member Gonzalez was the first ever elected Latina to the Seattle City Council in 2015. Mosqueda, also Latina, is joining a council that has become increasingly diverse over the past 2 years. Mosqueda said this year, instead of the traditional ceremony, we would be honored to be able to walk into the inauguration ceremony following members of the Mariachi Wenatchee to celebrate our heritage and these important policy-making positions that we've won. Mariachi Director Ramon Rivera said the group was very excited to be part of the historical event. Well, Mariachi Wenatchee isn't the only Wenatchee High School organization performing for government officials. Today at noon, the Wenatchee High School Choir will be performing the national anthem for Governor Jay Inslee's State of the State address in Olympia. Choir director Don McCormick says the choir will also be performing in the Capitol Rotunda following the governor's address and are invited to the governor's reception that evening. The Wenatchee High School Vocal Ensemble won first place at the prestigious Heritage Festival that was held in New Orleans last April. Well, if you've always wanted to meet players from the Seattle Mariners, now is your chance locally. NCW Life's Jay Seebeck tells us how.
Tomorrow night, Seattle Mariners players and team officials will be at the Pybus Public Market from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. for a question and answer session and to sign autographs for the public. They will also have prizes to give away from the Mariners team store. The Mariner Moose and members of the Mariners broadcast team will also join those Mariners players to take pictures and provide entertainment for the kids. Last year when they came to visit, I was down there with a camera crew for the NCW Life magazine, and I got to meet Ben Gamble, who is now a rising star on the Mariners roster, as well as iconic Mariners broadcaster Mike Blowers.
It's nothing I'm not accustomed to. I've always kind of played right, left, and center coming up through the minor leagues. So it's nothing really new for me. I get my work in batting practice depending on where I'm playing or whatever. So I just day by day, really.
I went to junior high, high school, and college in the state of Washington. I'm one of the fortunate few that was actually able to play Major League Baseball for their hometown team, and my wife and I and my family, we've been there basically our entire lives.
Also during last year's giveaway, William O'Brien was the big winner of 4 tickets to a home game of his choosing. I had him come into the NCW Life studio where he gave me an inside look at his most valuable Mariners possession.
I was always hoping for a baseball bat and usually didn't get one. The only bats I had were really bad plastic ones that if you tried hitting a ball with it, it'd go snap and it'd break. And I'm like, how am I supposed to play baseball with these things? and I got my hand on a bat, but I never did use it actually because it was the bat signed by Edgar Martinez.
So again, the Seattle Mariners are coming to the Pybus Public Market tomorrow night from 4 p.m. to 5:15. Jay Seebeck, NCW Life News.
And that's a look at your Tuesday morning news headlines. I'm Grant Olson in for Steve Hare. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, Grant. We appreciate it. Once again, Grant Olson is our anchor when we do the nightly news, which comes your way Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. So you have 3 chances to check out what's going on in North Central Washington with the news. Grant Olson handles your weather forecast as well. Eric Granstrom with sports. And at the bottom of your screen is all the different ways you can get a hold of us. You can message us on Facebook. You can pick up the telephone and give us a call. You can call our news tip hotline. You can go to our website and click on the Contact Us tab. We try to make it as easy as possible for you to get a hold of us here at the NCW Life Channel. 34 degrees, a couple of clouds out there, light rain off and on throughout the course of the day. Today, all in all, fairly quiet with some snow on Thursday morning. It is, after all, January, the 9th day of January. 1 minute break. When we come back, sports and everything else. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live here from Studio 2 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life Channel.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life Channel.
I'm Eric Granstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on LocalTel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life Channel.
My name's Robert Duff. Current and previous occupation is architect, engineer, and lawyer. Grew up here in Washington, born in Moses Lake. When I first came to CVCH, was looking for a place to get some dental work done. I was really impressed with the people at the counter. I mean, they were just on top of it. It only took her like 15 minutes to do their job. I didn't feel anything. The technology is so great, you don't even realize you're at the dentist. These people are so professional. I would have any one of these people in my home for dinner. These people are family.
And we're back 23 minutes after the hour on this Tuesday, the 9th day of January 2018. I am Dan Kuntz. Let's do sports for the 5th time since 2009. The Alabama Crimson Tide are the national champions of the collegiate football world. A great game, overtime, 26-23. They beat the Bulldogs last night in Atlanta. Trailing 13-0 at the half, Alabama coach Nick Saban decided to pull starting quarterback Jalen Hurts, and he put in the true freshman Tua Tagovailoa. I think I just swallowed something. He threw 3 touchdown passes. I could never do Hawaiian names very good. He threw 3 touchdown passes, including a 41-yarder in overtime to Devonta Smith for the game winner. Crimson Tide had a chance to win it at the end of regulation, but kicker Andy Papanastos missed from 37 yards out. Georgia scored first in the overtime, 51-yard field goal by Rodrigo Blankenship, and then Tagovailoa, the Alabama quarterback, took a bad sack on Alabama's first play in overtime, lost 16 yards out to the 41-yard line, and then on the very next play, he looked right, came back left, he hit Smith for the touchdown and the national championship. For Nick Saban, he has now won 6 national championships, 5 at Alabama and 1 at LSU. That matches the record set by the legendary Paul Bear Bryant, and the collegiate football season now comes to an end. But of course, we're knee-deep in the prep winter sports schedule, and here's your schedule for today. Girls bowling this afternoon. Wenatchee will host Davis, and Eastmont will take on Eisenhower. Both of those at Eastmont Lanes, and they get going at 2 o'clock. Big 9 wrestling. Wenatchee is on the road at Sunnyside. Eastmont will be at West Valley. Both of those matches start at 7. Girls basketball tonight. Caribou Trail League. Cascade is at Cashmere. 5:45 tip. Antioch travels to Pateros for a 6 o'clock tip time. It's also a 6 o'clock start for Waterville Mansfield at Brewster, and the Manson boys hosting Tonasket. That's girls. Boys basketball. Wenatchee will be hosting Lewiston, Idaho. At 5:45, Cashmere will play host to Cascade. At 7:15, the Antioch boys from Pateros. 7:30 tip there. Waterville Mansfield at Brewster, and Tonasket and Manson also approximately 7:30, basically about 20 minutes after the conclusion of the girls' games. Well, the season may have ended prematurely for the Seattle Seahawks. They didn't make the playoffs for the first time since 2011, but they're handing out the hardware. The end of the year awards are being handed out. Now the team votes for its own MVPs. Here's the list. Offensive MVP, Russell Wilson, no surprise there. Defensive MVP, Bobby Wagner. He had 133 tackles this year, including 97 solo tackles and 13 tackles for a loss. So Bobby Wagner had a good year. Special teams MVP, Nico Thorpe. He had a team-high 10 special teams tackles. The comeback player of the year for the Seahawks, Earl Thomas, with 88 tackles, a forced fumble, a couple of interceptions, and of course he also had a pick 6 earlier in the year. Most improved player goes to Paul Richardson, and the rookie of the year, Shaquille Griffin. The Seahawk team awards were handed out yesterday. It is 26 minutes after the hour on this 9th day of January, 2018. I am Dan Koontz. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. And let's do your obscure holiday of the day today. Today is Cassoulet Day. Cassoulet Day. Cassoulet is a French dish. It's a French dish. Now, French cuisine is considered the finest in the world, but they don't have, what's the best way to put it? It's not necessarily all good, and this is a perfect example of that. What is in a cassoulet? A cassoulet consists of pork sausages, goose, duck, sometimes mutton, pork skin, and white beans. It's a very meaty dish. It is cooked very, very slow. The name cassoulet comes from the dish that you cook it in, which is a casserole dish, that big round pot with the slanting sides so nothing falls out. The one true thing about all cassoulets is they are always made with white beans, duck, or goose, plus sausages and additional meat. It's got a lot of meat in it. By the way, in France, you could buy cassoulets in cans, in jars, in the supermarkets and grocery stores. I will pass. So the French have a lot of really good cooking. That is not among them. Enjoy a cassoulet day by making a cassoulet and consume it at your own risk. And don't bring in any leftovers for me. 27 minutes after the hour today in history. We always welcome a new state to the Union whenever that pops up. And on January 9th, 1788, Connecticut joined the Union. 230 years ago today, Connecticut became the 5th state to ratify the Constitution and joined the Union. There are 4 nicknames for Connecticut. Officially, they are known as the Constitution State. There was no state back in the early days of this country that was more progressive when it came to let's get a constitution, let's make it happen. So they became known as the Constitution State. They're also the Nutmeg State, the Provisions State, and the Land of Steady Habits. The state song is Yankee Doodle. Makes perfect sense to me. It's the state song of Connecticut. And Connecticut, in 1800, when Connecticut was very young and in the Union, only 10% of Connecticut was forested. Now, today, about 60% of Connecticut is forested. Just a fun fact about Connecticut, who joined the Union 230 years ago today. And today is the 11th anniversary of the iPhone. There is Steve Jobs. That is the actual press conference. On this date, January 9th, 2007, Steve Jobs, the CEO of Apple, introduced a brand new product called the iPhone in San Francisco, California. Rolled out in the market a few months later, and by the time they discontinued the iPhone in July of 2008, 6.1 million iPhones were sold. And that was the first original iPhone, which has become, to me, an invaluable tool. It's funny how I don't need no iPhone. Turns out I do. I think we all have smartphones nowadays. They're everywhere, aren't they? 29 minutes after the hour, let's do some birthdays. A lot of birthdays, and we're all over the board on this one, including the 37th President of the United States, Richard Milhous Nixon, was born in this state in 1913, passed away of a stroke at the age of 81 back in 1994. He is the only person to be elected president twice and vice president twice. He holds that distinction. He was also the first president to visit all 50 states. It has been done since by Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. And of course, the only president to resign, Richard Nixon, born in this state in 1913. Bart Starr, NFL Hall of Famer, is 84 years old today. There's Bart. Of course, he was the MVP of the first 2 Super Bowls, 4-time Pro Bowl selection, Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1977, the National Football League's most valuable player in 1966, Bart Starr. The legend is 84 years old today. Bob Denver was born on this day back in 35. Gilligan. There he is. Yes, I loved Gilligan's Island when I was a kid, and if I need complete mindless entertainment where I don't need to think about anything, I'll pop in the occasional Gilligan's Island DVD. Bob Denver was born in the state in 1935, passed away in 2005 at the age of 70. Our little buddy Gilligan. Jimmy Page, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, voted number 3 on Rolling Stone's lists of the greatest guitarists of all time. Only Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix surpassed him there. The great Jimmy Page. He's a 2-time inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Yardbirds back in 1992 and as a member of Led Zeppelin in 1995. Jimmy Page, 74 years old today. J.K. Simmons, the American actor. Boy, this guy's had a great career renaissance. We all got to know him in Law and Order, and then, of course, he was in Oz and The Closer, the Spider-Man trilogy, and just a couple of years ago in the movie Whiplash. He received all kinds of critical acclaim, including the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, won a Golden Globe as well. J.K. Simmons, 63 years old today, and of course he's on all those State Farm commercials too. And Dave Matthews is 51 years old today. Somebody should probably tell Dave that. Give him a call. Hey Dave, it's your birthday. Did you know that? Born and raised in South Africa. Of course, now he lives in the United States. In the 10-year period from 2000 to 2010, the Dave Matthews Band sold more tickets and sold more records than any other musical act in the world. Dave Matthews is 51 years old today. Happy birthday, Dave. 32 minutes after the hour, it is 34 degrees outside of our studios, partly to mostly cloudy skies, light rain today. A little bit of rain snow mix off and on until we get to Thursday. Thursday morning, when you wake up, it will be snowing fairly heavily at times, but it'll switch over to rain in the afternoon, and by Thursday, by sunset, the snow will pretty much be gone, and by Friday, we'll have sunshine and highs in the mid-40s. We're going to be all over that roller coaster. We'll do the weather forecast one more time before this show is over. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. His topic today, don't be stupid. It's good stuff from Mike, and then my interview with Don Messick, the regional labor economist, when he was in a couple of weeks ago. That's a fascinating conversation. Really good news on the unemployment front for North Central Washington. That and more coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live here from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
Alone, it can be hard to reach our dreams. It can feel like you aren't welcome anywhere. When no one's there to clap, taking on the world by yourself. But when we come together, when we lend a helping hand, when we set the stage, when you support causes you care about in your community, lives are changed. You make a difference in someone's life when you give. Imagine the impact if everyone in our community gave 10%. 10% makes a difference.
In our experience, some people are just cut out for charter college and for success in a new career. These charter types are hard workers. Charter types go above and beyond. And charter types are responsible. If you're ready to get to work making a better future for yourself, you're just our type. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
SkillSource specializes in assessing and guiding youth, adults, and laid-off workers who want to improve their skills. Here you can attend in-depth workshops to assess skills and interests, make career plans, and learn computer basics.
Learning centers provide eligible youth and adults individualized computer-assisted basic education. Vocational training is arranged with approved providers like community colleges or on the job with businesses.
Don't wait any longer. Let's get working on the future you've been dreaming about.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, serving all of North Central Washington.
We make it our priority to learn all about your financial needs. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or want a reverse mortgage, our mortgage professionals are ready to guide you through the loan process. We have a wide variety of loan products to fit your family's needs. Call Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee today for your pre-approval. 509-888-0466.
Hey, this is Mike, Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, gentlemen, you know what your wives and your girlfriends often complain about? You, their hubbies, or their boyfriends, and how you gawk at other women when you're with them. Now, what's wrong with you? Show some respect. Look, men like to look at eye candy every once in a while. I know that. But you think it's not a big deal, but to do it blatantly when you're with your woman is really derogatory to your relationship. Now, the technical scientific words for openly gawking at women when you're with your wife or your significant other is stupid. So don't do it. Now, this is Mike, Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks, so bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
If you're stuck trying to find the perfect beer for you, look no further than Badger Mountain Brewing. We specialize in creating tantalizing craft beers that will soothe any picky taste buds and will satisfy your cravings. Check out everything from our amazing Honey Blonde that will appease even the most finicky taster, or a delicious frothy stout for dark beer lovers. Experience them all at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Life is about memories and lasting impressions. With Boswell's expansive two-story showroom of quality home furnishings, you'll find everything you need to create a home to remember. Need assistance? From fabric options and complimentary design service to complete home makeovers, Glenn, Buffy, and Teresa are there to guide you. Come into Boswell's and find inspiration and comfort for every room in your home. Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
Hi, this is Carl.
And Kathy from East Wenatchee Grocery Outlet. We are excited to be a part of this wonderful community and look forward to meeting you at East Wenatchee Grocery Outlet.
Our store is filled with name brand products at bargain prices at 40 to 60% savings. We have a large selection of natural, organic, and specialty foods.
Stop by and meet Carl, the wine guy, on Wednesday.
East Wenatchee Grocery Outlet, where you can win what you saved. Stop by soon.
Today in studio is Don Messick, who is the regional labor economist for this area, and today, for informational purposes, although Don handles the entire region, which is a pretty sizable region, for our notes we're going to talk about today is strictly the Wenatchee metropolitan area, the Wenatchee MSA, as opposed to the region as a whole.
Okay.
So that way it kind of limits our conversation to what we want to talk about. And I guess that's a good place to start. What exactly is the Wenatchee MSA?
Well,
for those who don't know.
The short story is the Wenatchee MSA is Chelan Douglas counties.
It's as simple as that.
Simple as that. And because of the commuting between Douglas County and Chelan County, basically East Wenatchee to Wenatchee, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, our parent organization, mandates we combine those areas into the Wenatchee MSA.
Because it's all one area.
Yeah,
we all know that. But you bring up a critical point, because we're talking about off camera about physically, as opposed where your residence is to where your office is, so to speak.
Yes.
The vast majority of people who work, say, out in the Quincy server farms don't necessarily live in Quincy or Moses Lake. They could live in the Wenatchee, East Wenatchee area, and they commute to Highway 28 to go to work. So how does that affect the numbers?
Well, there's two main data sets that we look at, and you hit the nail right on the head, Dan, is the labor force data from which the unemployment rate is derived is based on place of residence, where residents live. The non-farm employment, the industry changes, are based on place of work, where the jobs are. So they don't always go in sync. but we gather intelligence, we gather information from both of those data sets.
And how do you get the numbers? That's a good question. Where do the numbers come from?
Well, it is a good question, and fundamentally our labor area unemployment statistics, our civilian labor force, which we affectionately call CLF, is from a system, a national system called LAUS. LAUS, Labor Area Unemployment Statistics. It's a methodology dictated by the Federal Bureau, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and we follow that when estimating the unemployment rates in Chelan, Douglas counties, in every county in the state, and of course Washington. The non-farm estimates, the monthly jobs report, is based on a system called CES, Current Employment Statistics, again a national system for every county in the nation. So the summary is that we have a LAUS, a LAUS methodology for the unemployment and labor force trends, dictated by the BLS, and we have a CES methodology, current employment statistics, dictated by the BLS for employment estimates.
You guys love acronyms, don't you?
We love acronyms. Yes.
By the way, viewers, there'll be a test later on. I hope you're writing that down. You mentioned unemployment. Let's start out with some really good news.
Yes.
We got some good stuff.
Yes,
to show our folks.
It is good news. The unemployment rate this November is 4.6%. It was 5.9% in November 2016. So that's a 1 3/10 percentage point drop. That's statistically significant, and I think probably even more important is the fact that our unemployment rate here in the two-county area has been dropping now for 13 consecutive months, all the way back to November 2016, so between Novembers of 15 and 16. So when you have a 13 consecutive month year-over-year decline in the local unemployment rate, that says something.
How do you account for that? Is there a magic formula there? Or?
Yeah, it's one of I think the big things is primarily more people are in the labor force. We have a 2.1% growth in the labor force, Dan. We have a 3.5% growth in the resident employment. That ties into what we discussed earlier. There are about 2,062 more residents in the Wenatchee MSA's labor force in November 17 than in November 16. What's really been pushing the rate down, however, more than the growth in the labor force, is the decline in the number of unemployed. The number of unemployed was 3,705 residents in November 16, 2,972 residents in November of 17. So basically November 16 was 3,705, declined to 2,972. What does that mean? 733 fewer residents that are unemployed, a 19.8% drop in the number of residents. So you could say 20%.
20%.
Fewer residents are out of work.
When that number crossed your desk, when you were crunching the numbers and spreadsheets, did you go, wow?
Well, yeah, and I've been saying that for several months now because that's been the trend, is the labor force is expanding modestly, but the number of unemployed has been dropping precipitously. Hence, we have that rate drop this November from 5.9% to 4.6%. That is between the Novembers of 16 and 17. And again, Dan, a 1 3/10 percentage point drop is significant. This 4.6% reading is the lowest November unemployment rate we've had since our agency has kept electronic data since 1990.
27 years.
27 years.
That's remarkable. Where are the jobs coming from? I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm saying construction has to be one of the bigger ones. Am I not correct on that?
And I think one indicator is what this tells me, looking at the labor force data, I think agriculture is faring quite well. In the non-farm sector, there's probably the big three, I would call. Construction is going gangbusters. Construction, we have about 400 more construction jobs this November than in November 16. In raw numbers, that we rose from 2,500 to 2,900 construction jobs. So that's a 16% growth rate. Another industry that's been doing very well, health services. Health services is up from 7,100 to 7,400, a 300 job gain. That trend's been going on for 50 months, I believe, too, in health services.
The Wenatchee area is a health hub. People come here to, this is where they come here, this is where the hospital is, this is where the clinic are. This is, we have the doctor to patient ratio in North Central Washington is huge. I mean, it's very small. It's very small. I mean, this is where people come to get their health care taken care of. No surprise there.
And in fact, I think you hit the nail right on the head. We are becoming a hub for many types of health services, and the population's getting older too. So
construction, healthcare, and
leisure and hospitality, hotels and restaurants. And that's kind of an encouraging sign, because we had about a 4-month period there, I think July, August, September, October, where our leisure and hospitality was virtually flat. A lot of that was related to the forest fires and the smoke drifting in from BC. So that industry was virtually flat in that 4-month period. However, in November of this year, we saw a 300 job upturn. So I think we're back in terms of leisure and hospitality. So the 3 industries, they're faring well, particularly well. The non-farm industries, construction, leisure and hospitality, health services.
But there are some, it's not all great news, although most of this is great news. There's some trouble spots out there that you have an eye on.
There are, and I think that there's 2 I'd like to bring up.
Please.
One, manufacturing. Our local manufacturing employment has either stagnated or decreased for the last 23 consecutive months here, all the way back from January 2016 up through November 2017.
January of 2016 is when the Alcoa Wenatchee Works mothballed. And is that essentially it?
That's essentially it.
Okay.
And we're still feeling the impact of that. However, manufacturing hasn't been faring very well statewide either. Manufacturing statewide has dropped for 18 consecutive months. Not precipitously, but the big difference is our manufacturing losses were from the primary metals industry. Statewide losses are in transportation equipment, particularly aircraft parts. That's the one industry. The second, retail. Retail's been virtually stagnant here in the Wenatchee MSA for at least the last year. We've had some retail closures. And I think, although it's always hard to attribute it to any one reason, I think we're seeing some movement away from brick and mortar purchasing here to internet shopping. I do know that our retail is not looking very good right now in terms of job growth rates. We're not losing jobs. In fact, we're actually up 100 jobs this November compared to November 16. But when I go back and look at 12 months, it's a very stagnant industry right now in terms of employment.
Are some of these numbers inevitably going to go back up, specifically unemployment? Because we looked at that unemployment number and that's lower than a gopher's basement. That's great news. But
I like that, a gopher's
basement. But it can't last forever, can it? I mean,
no, it doesn't. There's always cycles. And I think now we're at a historic low period. It's definitely encouraging, and like I say, we've had 13 consecutive months of year-over-year declines in the monthly unemployment rate in the Wenatchee MSA. When will it go up? That's the question, and I don't know. I think at this point we just have to say we've seen a 13-month trend. If anyone were to ask me, what about December? Well, I would say with 13 consecutive months and the 1 3/10 percentage point spread between Novembers of 16 and 17, is it likely the rate will continue to drop in December, between the Decembers of 16 and 17? I would say so, but how long? I honestly don't know.
This is still the primary source of the economic growth or non-growth in the Wenatchee Valley is still agriculture. There is a reason why you keep 2 separate set of numbers. There's agriculture numbers, and then there's everything else. And
Yes.
Why is that?
It's actually federal methodology. We mentioned CES, Current Employment Statistics, and the jobs report that's released nationally, statewide, and locally. Agriculture is not estimated in the monthly estimates. It's not part of the CES program. And that has always been the case. But keep in mind, in the nation, we have about 1% of our jobs in ag. Statewide, 2 to 3%. In Wenatchee, we have about 25% roughly. We go up to Yakima, down to Yakima, we have about 28%. Up in Okanagan County, almost 33%.
Sure.
But it's, years ago, the Federal Bureau estimating methodology did not incorporate ag employers. And I think many ag employers were not included in the unemployment compensation system. Also, it's harder to track. So it's kind of a downside of the current jobs report is that we don't estimate current monthly agricultural employment. The good news We do capture that data historically every quarter, and annually we capture that through a system called, another acronym is QCEW, Quarterly Census Employment Wage. So we can tell you what ag is, but we don't have current monthly estimates. We have to go back historically. So I can tell you right now how ag employment fared in 2016. I won't have annual average 2017 data until about September of this year.
And the vast majority of numbers that we've been talking about, we need to point this out, is November of 2016 and November of 2017. That's your year, your 12-month calendar.
Our cutoff right now for non-farm estimates and for unemployment rates, November 2017. That's true, Dan.
Don, it's good to see you. I learned a lot today.
Well, it's always good to talk with you. We like what we do.
Yeah.
If we don't have people interested in it, it makes for kind of a boring job. So thank you.
It's always good to see you, Don. Say hi to all my friends down in Union Gap.
I will. Thank you,
Union
sir.
Gap, the gateway to Wapato.
Yes.
Don, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Yeah, Don came and paid us a visit a couple weeks ago, and he comes 4 times a year on a quarterly basis with the latest unemployment figures. He is, again, the regional labor economist, Don Messick, and when he comes back in early April, we'll have another visit with Don. It is 51 minutes after the hour. I am Dan Coons. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live here from Studio 3 in downtown Wenatchee on this Tuesday, January 9th. When we come back, we paid Beth Stipe a visit yesterday, the executive director of the Community Foundation of North Central Washington. We'll have that story. We'll recap last night's Eastmont School Board meeting when they officially changed the name of Robert E. Lee Elementary School to simply Lee Elementary, and we'll also update you on your weather forecast and your past report on this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Winter weather has arrived in the Wenatchee Valley, and it's no fun to be stuck outside in the cold, and your dog or cat don't appreciate it either. Paws and Claws Veterinarian Hospital would like to remind you that your pet is susceptible to hypothermia and frostbite just like you. After going outside, wipe off their paws to prevent them from licking de-icer or antifreeze. Dr. Shauna Bayes and her staff care about your pets. If your pet needs medical attention, call 888-PAWS or find them on 4th and Nile in East Wenatchee.
Lake Chelan mailboxes find solutions and the best price for all your shipping needs, including UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. We offer a variety of services including quality copies of all sizes, faxing, scanning, sending and receiving email, laminating, and notarizing. Enjoy browsing through our large selection of greeting cards. Lake Chelan Mailboxes supports our military, fire victims, and our community.
See us at the Plaza in Chelan for all your holiday needs.
"54 minutes after the hour on this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. The Give NCW campaign reached another record year of donations from the community. They have tallied up the final dollars. The public donated more than $235,000 through the crowdfunding campaign.
Hi, I'm Beth Stipe. I'm the Executive Director of the Community Foundation of North Central Washington, and I'm here to tell you, the public, about the Give NCW campaign that wrapped up at the first of the year and how great you all did in supporting the nonprofits in our region. So this year, which is our third year of the Give NCW campaign, which is where we put 25 vetted nonprofit organizations out to the public so that you can help them meet their goals and to do great things in North Central Washington. And this year, you raised more money than ever ever. $235,000 came in to support these 25 wonderful projects and programs throughout the region. 10 nonprofit organizations met their goal out of 25. All in all this year, the total amount that was given to the nonprofit organizations in North Central Washington out of the Give NCW campaign totaled $441,630, and that was all because of you, so thank you.
So 2018, what's coming up for the foundation? Stipe outlines a few upcoming projects and scholarship opportunities.
So while the Give NCW and the Give Methow campaigns only happen once a year, there are still a lot of great opportunities to get involved in your community. Go find an organization that you're passionate about and volunteer with them and help them to make great things happen in your world. Also, here at the Community Foundation, we have lots of great things coming up for 2018. We have scholarships that we're giving away. Applications are open right now, and the deadline is March 1st. So get your applications in. We give away over $500,000 in student scholarships every year. Also, we have some really great programming. Our Nonprofit Practices Institute is going to have several trainings around strategic planning and other wonderful nonprofit-based projects, and that we'd love to invite you to come and attend. One of the great opportunities that we have coming up is our Stronger Schools program, which is open to any school district, school, or program that supports a school in North Central Washington. If you're involved in a parent-teacher association, or you're a teacher or a school administrator, check us out on our website. Those applications are going to open on January 15th, and they'll close on March 15th. And you can have up to $5,000 for your school or school-based project. And those are really fun grants that we love to give to help support learning in our communities. Check us out on our website, cfncw.org, where you'll find all of those great projects and opportunities that are coming up for our community. And thank you.
And thank you, Beth, for the good work that you do. And our top story this morning, in case you missed it, we reported on this just about an hour ago. It is now official. Robert E. Lee Elementary School in East Wenatchee is now simply Lee Elementary. Big crowd last night at their regularly scheduled meeting, the Eastmont School Board at Grant Elementary. Of the 5 Eastmont School Board members, 4 were in attendance. All of them voted to rename the school Lee Elementary. Of course, the compromise came at the suggestion of School Superintendent Garn Christensen.
The moment you take a position in public service at any level, it's one of constant compromise. Your own beliefs, your own opinions, and you work towards the hope that the people that are sitting here in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, or 50 years from now, our grandchildren, will look back and say, thank you. There was a group of committed citizens in this community that made decisions for the benefit of all. My decision is what I would absolutely love. No, I rarely get to do that as a superintendent. Is it a compromise? It is. And my recommendation to change it from Robert E. Lee to Lee Elementary is just that. I think it's a good recommendation that will hopefully move us forward. From what was mentioned earlier in the process of doing my own research, I pulled open the Washington State School Directory and I looked up our district. And yes, there is Robert E. Lee, both in the printed version and the electronic version. If you look for Grant Elementary, somehow or another, it just got recorded as Grant Elementary. In other places, you listen as Grant is actually wrong to the school. So we are imperfect as citizens, and we are imperfect as people and as a democracy. But I still believe it's the foundation of our country. So please consider that.
One more item of business to get to before we send you down the road for this Tuesday, and that is your weather forecast. Fairly cloudy skies and 34 degrees. We started out this morning with some rain. The rain has tapered off. Could still get some light rain today. And afternoon high temperature of about 40 degrees, as you might imagine. A little warmer than normal. Mostly cloudy skies expected tonight. 30 for the overnight low. Jumping ahead to Wednesday, partly sunny and a high near 41 degrees. Wednesday night is the beginning of a fairly active storm system. We got about an 80% chance of rain on Wednesday night, and then it's going to switch over to snow. When you get up Thursday morning, it will be snowing in the Wenatchee Valley, upwards of 3 inches possible by noon, and then it's all going to go away because that snow is going to switch over to rain, and a high of 39 degrees on Thursday means whatever snow we get Thursday is probably going to be long gone by the time you get up on Friday. In fact, if there is any residual snow, it will also be gone because Friday's high under partly cloudy skies is 44 degrees. That's just about it. By the way, traction tires are advised on the major mountain passes. It's going to snow pretty much for the rest of this week, especially Thursday. Lots of snow. Heads up there. Everybody have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.